What has this week been like for you?
I have to tell you, Matt, it has been a real emotional roller coaster. There have been moments of despair and moments of a lot of hope too, and then moments where I really just didn't know what to feel.
As a leader in the community, how do you process those different emotions? People look to you for guidance, but I mean, just describing it yourself, it sounds like you've struggled over the course of the week with this.
Right. Well, especially starting out with the week, Sunday night, Monday morning, it was just really tough, and I think a lot of people didn't really even want to think about it. But going on throughout the week, we just were really taken aback and really floored by the positive messages of support from our neighbors, from strangers, from the community at large, and that really buoyed our spirits and give us hope that out of this, hopefully something good can come.
What we've heard from members of the community, what I've heard from friends, has been concern, fear, a sense of optimism, referencing specifically, as you said, that outpouring of support, but just feeling very unsettled by what has unfolded. What have you heard from your congregants about how they have been processing this week?
A lot of different things. I mean, there is fear. There is a man who came into my office almost sweating, saying that, he wants to suggest that we should invest in bulletproof windows. And he's almost sweating from anxiety. There have been a lot of people on social media, friends talking about there's going to have to be a bigger conversation about what lessons do we learn from this. And it's not only about security of mosques, but about how do we build a better Canada, and how do we hopefully take steps so that this sort of thing doesn't happen again.
What are the lessons you think we should take from this? I mean, even in the wake of the support, we're hearing that a mosque in Montreal was vandalized overnight. There's a real gut check happening largely in Quebec around comments made not just by politicians, but by broadcasters, by comedians. What should we, and we're still processing this, but what do you think we should take from this week?
Right. I think there's a number of different strands and there's a number of different angles to it. I'm just really happy to see that those politicians and media personalities in Quebec were, taking stock of the discourse that was taking place in Quebec. There's so many levels to it. One level that personally we've seen is the need to build on the positive, the positive outpouring of support and goodwill, and really building on that to strengthen ties. I would encourage all mosques and really all places of worship to build on the goodwill and establish lasting relationships, so that this moment doesn't just come and pass, but that we come out of it as a tighter knit community, tighter knit country with stronger bonds.
You talked about building a better Canada.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you?
That means not being strangers to each other, and that's something that really came out of this past week, that so many neighbors poured into the mosque. We had a vigil, and we had no idea how many would show up. I think around 350 did show up on short notice. And one woman came in and she said that I've lived in this neighborhood for a year, and now is the first time that I'm actually feeling a sense of community and belonging in this neighborhood. And that was really moving for me, because it showed that, out of this, we are hopefully building a stronger community. And at first I thought that was just happening with us locally, but as I looked at the news and I looked at the news feeds online, I saw that it's happening in small towns and big towns all across the country.
You received these letters of support from the grade 11 students at Humberside Collegiate. This was written by a 16-year-old who wrote, "I would like to apologize for all the people who allow fear and judgment to blind them from seeing that regardless of race or beliefs, we are all human. This is your home. You are welcomed and you are supported." What was it like to read those comments?
It was incredibly moving, especially to get them from a 16-year-old. When you get reassured by somebody much younger than you, it makes you, it's really heartwarming. And it wasn't just from one or two people, but just the sheer number of people writing in those kind of comments or making them in person. There was a man from Etobicoke who happened to be in the neighborhood visiting his son, and he came in and gave me a big teary hug. And there was, when we had our vigil, a group, and I don't even know who they are yet, but a group left a giant handwritten card saying that, you're integral to our community, and you know, the mosque is really providing value to the community, and we love that, and we want to show our solidarity. And then it was signed by, and I started counting it, and I realized it was 65 or 70 names written on that card, and I was just so impressed that a group came together and did that. And I still haven't figured out who they are, but I need to do that.
Today, when Muslims gather for Friday prayers around the GTA, a number of Jewish leaders have called on members of their communities to surround your mosques as part of a protective ring of peace. Mm-hmm. Your center is going to be surrounded by congregants from the City Shul Synagogue and St. Anne's Anglican Church. Mm-hmm. What does that say to you about what's going to happen today?
I think that the members of the mosque are going to be really impressed and amazed that at the level of support for the mosque. I think people don't always realize that that there is community out there beyond their local mosque, and to see that there are people out there, Jews, Christians, people of other faiths or no particular faith, who really care about the Muslim community and care about the fabric of the neighborhood and of the society. I think that says a lot, and it's really reassuring.
Do you end an awful week like this hopeful and optimistic?
Definitely hopeful and optimistic, and I think there's still a lot of work to do in these partnerships that we're building. I think going forward, we're going to have to think also about the reality of racism in Canada, of white supremacy, of far right extremism, and I hope that these partnerships that we form in this week and going forward will also look at some of those hard issues and how we can address those too.
Thank you for being here.